What a night.
Yes. You can't tell. It's 8 a.m., which is very much not the time I like to wake up on a Sunday. But here we are talking about fights because we're amped and we could barely sleep last night.
So excited.
Dude, UFC 300 was so good.
I don't know what we did to deserve such an event. But
I mean,
I'll take it.
We fight for the company. I feel like it was, if anything, it was payment to us, aside from,
But something we had to actually pay for.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me altogether. Still have to pay for Fightpass too. It's
If
so weird.
only we were at the press conference, we could have asked Dana when he was giving out all the shit. He's like, oh, you can have custom shorts. Oh, you can have 300K for the bonuses. Hey, Dana, can we get free fight pass?
Absolutely. I'm in such a giving mood.
Can we not have to pay for UFC 300?
Or any other pay-per-views for
Or
that
any
matter.
pay-per-view?
I mean, I feel like when I heard that 300K, I was like, you guys, you could afford that every single fight. You really could.
Yeah.
And then as I was, clicking on the button to purchase the pay-per-view for $80.
After budgeting your account, making sure
just
you
making
did.
sure I'm not going to overdraw any accounts.
I didn't buy at least 3 avocado toasts this month so I can afford the pay-per-view.
So you're smart. There's money in there. So I'm like, it's fine. And I'm like, oh wait, now I can't do this. Okay.
Oh, no.
Never learned how to budget. They should have added that into our elementary school curriculum.
I know, right? They tried with the athlete retreat, but I think it was kind of not the right move. They didn't get the right people to educate the fighters.
No. And then they made us watch Ballers. Did you have to watch Ballers?
No.
It was so sad.
Wait, what?
So it's a
Did I
documentary.
sleep through that one?
You just didn't wake up for it. It's a documentary. I forget who did it. Maybe like HBO or something like that.
Is that the Rock one?
No, that's a miniseries.
Oh, okay.
HBO did that one.
Okay.
But this one is called Ballers, and it's basically like what it sounds like. They have a bunch of ex-ball players who have basically spent all their money. And they, were making millions and millions on top of the world, buying everything that their heart desired, and now they're left with nothing. Most of them had to file bankruptcy. It was really, really sad.
Yeah.
And they had some, God, I don't want to say like Deion Sanders type level people. I don't know. I don't remember if he was in it or not. It was a long time ago. And I get punched in the head for a living, so I don't exactly remember a lot of details. Sometimes I get my days confused. Sometimes I forget what year it is.
Yeah.
But it was just really sad. And they were just, just kind of trying to give some insight and education to young and upcoming athletes. I kind of glazed over at certain points because I'm like, this does not actually pertain to me.
We don't make enough millions for this to be a problem
was like,
that we would have.
Yeah, it doesn't really translate well, but I get what you're saying. Put money away for the taxes.
They needed to have that meeting with the 4 people that actually make money that's close to that, which is like John Jones, Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, and that's probably it.
Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it.
That's probably it. Yeah, it would have applied to them better, and they've already done their thing with it. So
yeah,
I think they're good. The fights though were insane, and you could tell that everyone was hyped about that 300K.
Everybody fought like they were trying to earn that 300K, which was very, very much appreciated.
Yeah. Well, there was one moment where I think it was the first fight, and I remember watching like an Instagram video. Who was it? It was Blonde Brunson. He posted a video. He was like, "This is what every fighter is gonna be throwing like after they heard about the 300K," and he's like hitting the bag all crazy, and then he throws a wheel kick, and sure enough, Cody Garbrandt throws a wheel kick in the beginning of his fight versus Biggie and gets kicked in the chest trying to do it. And I'm like, oh shit, everyone's going to be doing wild stuff that they haven't practiced in fight camp. That they
I'm going to bring this out for a special occasion.
Yeah, they haven't done it on pads. They didn't talk to their coaches about it. They're just going to go wild and crazy because they want that 300K.
Yeah, everybody's freaking out in the corners. I don't even remember who it was, but they kept telling him, calm down, calm down. Oh no, it was Gaethje. They kept telling Gaethje, be patient, just chill. It was in the first round. And then when he got his nose broken, they were like, just go. Damn. Just go. We need a knockout.
Yeah.
But there was no holding back from anyone. Everybody brought it. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no holding back except for the Aljo fight where he literally held the guy down and back.
I mean,
Calvin.
He threw a couple kicks in there, a couple naked kicks as we refer.
Naked. He's so naked. Yeah, he restrained the shit out of that guy.
It was like a drunk guy at the bar.
Yeah,
that you're just
bro,
just chill.
Calm down, bro. Look, do you need a ride home? There's a cab outside. Where do you live? Like that's what Aljo. He would make a great bouncer, actually.
Wouldn't he?
He would. He would never hurt anyone. No.
Stop it.
I love Aljo. No, I'm just joking. But it was a really eye-opening fight for him because like he looked big in there.
He looked huge.
He was dominant in that fight. Like after that, like I was surprised how easily he handled him. Because this was the fight where I was like, I don't know, like he might regret making that decision going up against these bigger guys, and then you see him trying to get the takedowns over and over again, and like you hope that his gas tank can last because the takedowns, they gas you out, especially against bigger guys. But he was fine.
Yeah, I mean, Aljo always comes in shape, and I thought that the striking range would be an issue for him. Yeah. However, I love me some Calvin Kattar, but he does have a big gaping hole in his ground game and his takedown defense. We've seen that time and time again. So it was a risk with him trying to close the distance. However, once he got in there, Kattar just really was on the defense. Unfortunately, it was a great introduction into the featherweight division, though.
Yeah,
and I am interested to see where he goes into the rankings and what's next for him. I feel like it could be, depending on who the matchups are, I feel like it could be a quick trip to the top if he doesn't run into, some technical matchup issues.
Yeah, I got to check out the featherweight rankings right now. But like Kattar was ranked like number 8 or something, right? Yeah, so that's a big jump. Like suddenly he's there, he's in there. I remember we were talking to Rose. She fought the number 2 girl and lost, and was surprised that she wasn't in the rankings. With a win, there's a really good chance that he could be number 4 or 5, something like that. Just because,
you think that big a jump?
I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I mean, we are talking about Aljo.
True.
Notoriously disliked by the rankings, by the fans, but apparently he was not getting the hate that he usually gets this week.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wonder why that was, because you're still fighting like, Boston guy, American guy or whatever. I think maybe just the whole lead up to his title, not the lead up, but him gaining the title, the weird ways that it was defended. I feel like, man, it was just a really rough reign as a champion for him when it came to the relationship with the fans. So he kind of put that behind him, and now he gets to come in with a clean slate.
Yeah, I think that, I think that he didn't do himself any favors early on in his career with how he was showing up, and I don't think it was necessarily authentically him.
In what way?
Well, just he was being brash and outspoken, and the persona that he was putting forward. I don't think it was really genuinely him, and I think that people picked up on that, and it gave them a reason to want to fire back, as it tends to do with MMA fans.
You mean a black guy was confident in his abilities?
I'm not saying it's right. I am not saying it's right.
How dare you, Aljo? Don't believe in yourself.
I'm not saying it's right, however.
But that is the way it goes a lot of times.
Yeah, sometimes people will pick up on like one little thing you said and just hold on to it. And then they wait in the folds for their opportunity to go off like they did our boy Jamal.
Yes. Oh my God.
Bro, you guys need to chill. I woke up, and I know you did too. We woke up to notifications on our Instagram post from weeks ago, or at least 1 week ago.
Like at least a month ago.
Yeah.
This was that first clip that we posted.
Yes.
When they first announced the fight. And that was a while ago, you know.
That was a while ago.
That was a while.
And so crazy that you know, the MMA trolls have maybe they bookmarked it.
They did.
They circled back. They're waiting for their opportunity to come and gloat and do what trolls do.
This aged well.
Bro, you guys, you're showing your asses right now. Get a life.
The thing
Get
is,
a fucking life.
what do you look like when you're the guy who waits 2 months to write this aged well? Like,
get on a dating app.
Go
outside.
Move out of your mom's house.
Go do
she
something.
Probably doesn't like you anyway. Like, do her a favor. Get out of there. Come on. It's too much.
Yeah.
That fight, I felt horrible for Jamahal Hill. He's a friend of ours. We've seen his come up. I still feel like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, just because of the way that he was able to knock out a bunch of people, work his way to the title shot, beat Glover Teixeira, which is not like, you know, an easy feat to accomplish. And then to take this first fight back after such a horrendous injury, not that much time to prepare either. Like, we were talking to him about it when we interviewed him, which you can watch on our Two Straws page. And, you know, he had to jump right back into training as soon as he was cleared to train. And you're kind of going through that same thing where you're cleared to train, you're jumping back into training, and it's rough.
It is rough.
A year out. He had about a year out too. And man, tell us how you're feeling. Jess, I'd like to interview you. How is returning to fight camp or training rather?
Fucking rough.
In preparation for a fight eventually.
It's rough. I was like, yeah, I'll be back in the summer. Probably not till fall or winter. That's what we're looking at. Sitting for a year, especially with, I mean, he had a very extensive injury. Mm-hmm. I've had a broken foot with some setbacks in it. And to be able to train around that, there's really no way you can train around it.
Yeah, when it's like that low in your body.
Yeah, it's like weight bearing. It's the foundation for everything that an athlete does. So it takes a lot of time.
You could have done a year of armbar drills.
Girl. I was doing lifting. I was
like,
doing mental training. Every time I tried to do something, I would, you know, mess it up, or I would slow the healing process. So I was just like, finally, they just put me in a boot for, I mean, it ended up being like 5 or 6 months in a boot.
Yeah.
Just because the thing wouldn't heal. So when you're injured like that and you're coming back from basically like a zero, and as you've mentioned this before, like, well, you're an athlete, you're never really back to zero.
Yeah.
You're always, you know, a little bit better. We are athletes. We do know how to take care of our bodies, and we do know how to, you know, keep relatively in shape for, you know, I guess it's better than being a normal human.
Yeah. You're not starting from the first day you walked into the gym. You still have the muscle memory. You still have, you know, all the things that you remember how to do, but it's still, you have to get your body used to moving the way that you used to like moving fast. You got to get your cardio back up. You have to get like, your muscles triggering again. There's going to be atrophy from not doing the same movements that you're used to doing every day for the last 5 years. All of a sudden, it's like if you're bedridden, you know, all of a sudden walking is hard. That is the same thing with training. If you can't train, all of a sudden, just a shot takes all the wind out of you. You know, one submission that you were hitting on everyone. You try it on the white belt and you're gassed because all those muscles that clench up, they're tired. They haven't done it in a while. So there's a lot of your body relearning how to just be strong. And you're talking about coming back in fall. He had to come back in one season.
Exactly.
You know, he had to come back. He started training, I think December, he said. He had to come back to today. That's one season. He had winter to get ready for this. And it really is impressive that he was able to go through that camp, do everything he needed to do, and show up and put on this fight, because it takes two to tango. And everyone who's running into the comments, like talking their shit, like, you guys are keeping that man paid. So good on you.
Good job.
Yeah. He's one of the millionaires. He can watch Ballers. Thanks to you. You did it, guys.
Well done. I hope that was your intent.
Yes, you trolled him into having so much money.
Thank you.
Yo, but how good does Alex Pereira look? Like, I was not really on the hype train yet because he had a couple tough fights at light heavyweight. I felt like the move up was almost showing that he wasn't as scary as he looked at middleweight. Like, he was just a big old size bully, and that's it. He's still a size bully.
He's still huge. And then in the press conference, he was talking about going up to heavyweight.
Fucking motherfucker.
He could. Yes. He could. That is how large this human is. And it came up a couple of times from the broadcast channel when they were talking about like Holloway. And they were like, oh, you know, he put on so much. I was like, first of all, he didn't put on muscle for this fight. It's impossible to put on that much muscle for this fight. It just shows like these people are cutting so much weight. They are so big for their division.
Yeah.
And they have to be so strict with the regimen and getting down in that weight class. Like it is a science. They do it very, very well. But for somebody to be successful at a higher weight class says a lot about how much weight they're cutting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think Max was always just a big old lanky guy. And now that he's moved up, he's really filled into that size. Yes. He had, who was it that he fought? Was it Gaethje?
He fought Gaethje last time.
Yeah, he fought Gaethje last time he moved up. And it was just, it was just a
Well, he fought Gaethje last night.
Oh, no, not Gaethje.
Was it Eddie?
Who did Max fight when he moved up?
I forget.
And it was like super short notice. And everyone was like, that was a bad idea, Max.
I thought it was like Eddie Alvarez or somebody, but I don't think it was.
I just remember a lot of people were just saying, you're too small. You know, everyone was saying you're too small for that weight class. And let me see. It was Dustin, sorry. Huh?
Oh yeah, he offered.
He almost fought Khabib, but Dustin Poirier was the one that he went up in weight to fight, and you know, it was a gutsy performance, but he didn't look like himself, and everyone was just like, you should, that was a bad idea, blah blah blah. Now that he's had this like crazy performance, I think people are going to be more like, oh shit.
Did you see everybody panned to Ilia Toporia's face?
Oh my gosh.
He looked like he saw a ghost.
Oh, he looked like a sad puppy.
He really did.
It was really weird. Like, he looked like he just got yelled at by someone. Like, no, put it down. Well, I think because he called out Ilya, but then he also called out Islam. And he was like, Islam likes to fight featherweights too, so let's make that happen. And like, I think Ilya just assumed that they weren't gonna look at him since he already moved on.
He was processing.
Oh, I'm still here.
He was processing. You got to stay ready for those cameras.
Yeah, man, they're gonna pop
up. The champ. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is he thinking about going back down?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't
know.
I feel like this could have been just an opportunity and see how it goes. And now that it's gone well, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it really opened up a lot of possibilities for him in his career and doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Holloway is one of those guys. He was such a dominant champion, and yes, he's lost the belt. However, like, he's not, being sent off to pasture. Like he's at one of those spots where I feel like he's put in so much. He's been a company guy. He's, really delivered fights, and he can kind of do what he wants to do for his career, for his legacy. I feel like that's kind of where he is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I didn't really consider this an exhibition fight, like a fight where he's just moving up for the opportunity to fight for this BMF belt. I was feeling like this was his introduction into the lightweight division.
I mean, now that he's won, If he lost, maybe not. He'd be like, I'm going to go back down with the other featherweights.
This is just for fun. This is just for UFC 300 and for the fans and for 300K.
$600,000.
$600,000.
And that man does not need money.
Oh, my God.
He's one of those people that has fought so much with the belt that hopefully he has put the money in the bank.
Man, well, that performance, though, he's just, man, his stardom was already up there, and he just skyrocketed it. Like, last time he did the, hey, right here, nothing happened. Like, they swung. It was a great moment. It ended up in all of his highlight reels, but nobody dropped. So I feel like Gaethje was kind of like, all right, we could do that. Yeah, why not? And then, bam.
1 second left. I think that's like
Shit.
movie style ending that is like Babe Ruth level, like not infamy. What's the fucking word? It's too early.
Notoriety.
Thank you.
Notorious.
Notoriety.
Yeah.
That's the shot heard around the world.
Fuck, man. It's so crazy because it was like you had the foreshadowing too with the previous fight, with the whole come up, and then you have this fight at the end of the movie. It was so scripted. It felt so unreal, like you were saying. It was magical. I was just like, how is this real life? Real life is more crazy than any stupid Roadhouse movie.
I still haven't
come
seen
up
it.
You haven't seen it? Oh my God, Jess, you have to see it.
I know.
You have to see it.
I have to.
This fight was more unbelievable than Roadhouse, which is saying a lot. It's saying a lot. Like, the only thing that would make it...
I'm not getting that reference, damn it.
Yeah, well, I can imagine Conor McGregor walking into the cage naked after that fight because it was more unbelievable than Roadhouse. You're going to have to watch it.
I guess I'll have to watch it to get it. Sorry, guys.
You got a week.
Behind the times.
I'll be gone for a week, so you have all that time to catch up.
Okay.
Dude, that fight was amazing. There was a moment where I felt like Gaethje was maybe gonna win it. There was a second, I think in the fourth round, where he just started getting his hooks through. He started landing on him, and I was just like, oh shit, he might pull this off. And I really felt sad for Max at that moment, because he had done such a good job up until that point. And I didn't want the guy who seemed like the better fighter that night to just lose because the other guy is too tough. But that's Justin Gaethje's game. He's always been too tough to get knocked out. He's always been that guy who could just weather the storm and then hit you when you least expect. And he almost did that in the fourth.
I am such a huge Gaethje fan. Like, I've always been.
Yeah.
He's always been one of those fighters where I'm like, I'm going to show up and watch him.
Yeah.
Because he always delivers, win, lose, or draw.
Him. And he's such a cool guy, too.
He is one of those guys. I say this all the time. I'm like, when I like someone, I'm like, I just want to have a beer with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to chill, hang out. I know that he would just be awesome. We hung out with him at the airport bar after one of your fights.
Yeah.
Just coolest guy ever.
Side note, it was after the Zhao and Yan fight, and
that you won.
And Justin Gaethje told me that I won that fight. So he's always gonna be in my cool person book for that moment. He was like, comes down to human error, and the human error was the judges. That's what he was talking about. So to Gaethje forever.
So I was just in awe and admiration of his toughness, his grit, his perseverance, because he faced adversity really early on, and he had to fight through that.
Yeah.
For 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And there's man, I mean, fighters are tough, but he's on another level of toughness and grit. And I was just like, holy shit, you know what? I'm a wuss. I am, complaining about my foot, complaining about this, complaining about that. And this man just fought 5 rounds with 2 eye pokes, a broken nose, and getting dropped multiple times.
He almost got kicked out of the cage. Like he looked like he was about to turn around and walk out. Like, you know what? I'm out of here.
Actually, I forgot I left the stove on.
Wait, what? What'd you say, Dana? Wait,
I'll be right there.
I'm on my way. All right.
I just it's just incredible to watch somebody like that.
Yes, that's why they fought for the BMF belt, and it really is great when they live up to the hype, when they live up to that opportunity. I think that's what the UFC really loves more than title fights, is just, okay, these people have consistently shown up in a certain way, consistently just put their life on the line to be entertaining, and they reward them for that. Mm-hmm. I think that's really awesome to see. Such a great fight, man. I feel like fight of the year. Like, we were watching in a bar, and just the reaction to that last second knockout, everyone went insane.
That is going to be a fight that goes in UFC Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They just announced the Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen fight going into, the history books. And that's, what other fight could be in there with them, and that's the fight.
That is, yeah. I just hope that when they make the Max Holloway movie, that's the end. Just like, bam. All right, walk off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Speaking of belts, what did you think about the female title fight?
Ooh.
It was quite the exciting match. There was a lot of back and forth.
There were
surprisingly,
yeah.
I was like, oh, Weili's got this. She's better everywhere. But Weili doesn't like to strike anymore, I feel like.
No.
She looks uncomfortable on the feet, which is wild.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Jan is, a big, strong, sharp striker. So I feel like, looking at the footage, that's the fight that I would, or that's the fight strategy that I would have gone to with her. But you are right. Weili has, she is a good striker, but I've just noticed her, becoming a grappler. I definitely noticed that. I feel like that is the strategy that I would have gone with, though, had I been matched up.
Because you're a grappler.
Well, I can throw punches, too. I can throw some straight and some, loopy things.
Yeah. Well, I fought her, what year is that? It was like 2018 or something like that, or 2018. It was a while ago. But when I fought her, I was comfortable standing with her. And when I think of Weili, I think, okay, striker versus striker. And I should have known, because in her Lemos fight, it was a lot of grappling. And she also looked uncomfortable on the feet. But I figured, she just knows that the ground is where she's going to win this fight. She knows that Lemos will just sit on her back and, work to get up. She's not going to throw up submissions. And no, she really, when I think back to that fight, she really looked uncomfortable past the point of how a striker could look uncomfortable from getting hit, if that makes sense. She didn't seem to be happy standing and banging or slipping or landing on her. She just wanted to grab. And then in this fight, it was even more apparent. Every time she came in, she was getting nailed with the cross. She was getting nailed with check hooks, and then kind of getting stopped in her path on her way to change levels. I feel like I don't know, maybe just all the wars that she's been in, because she's been in a ton of wars. Maybe she's finally feeling that that life of the chin draining away.
It's the GSP switch.
Yes, yes.
I feel like once somebody experiences a bad knockout for the first time, it'll make somebody reevaluate their strategy, training style, fighting style, all those things. So I think that potentially could be what's happening. You know, it's important as the champ to keep the belt and, you know, find the fastest road to victory and the safest, especially for longevity. You still want to, you know, stay on top as long as you can. So I kind of see that's what's happening. I mean, GSP is the primary example for that. And people would say, oh, he's boring, he's this and that, but he was doing the best thing for himself as a champion to keep that belt.
Yeah, because he didn't start off that way.
No, he started off as like using all of his athleticism, and he's flashy and he's athletic. And, you know, he was more willing to take risk. And then after the big Matt Serra knockout, he just really reconstructed himself as an athlete.
Yeah, I think you feel a little more invincible until you get dropped.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, wait, this can happen to me? Me?
What?
No.
Shit.
And then it happens again. It can happen in another fight or in training or something where you're just like, fuck, okay, I need to do something else.
Yeah.
I can't just like take the punches on the top of the head anymore. I have to change level. I have to get out of the way of them. I have to grab this person, drag him to the floor. And I commend Weili for going so hard on her grappling technique. Like, it looked phenomenal last night. That like one arm lift throw that she hit off of the fence was insane. Like, she just, even when she would fail on takedowns, she didn't stop. You know, she didn't get like down about it. She didn't gas. She would just keep going and going and going. And eventually she would get to the back, get to the position where it was obvious she was the winner of the round. And I think it is the safest way to fight, especially as a champion, especially when you have such a advantage on the ground. Like, yeah, get in there, get your points, get the win.
Can we talk about, though, what happened at the end of the first round?
Yeah, fuck, I almost forgot.
How can you forget about that, Angela?
Because there was so much going on.
No, it was. I know. I feel like I watched 10 fights.
I was so mad.
Like, what do you do?
How does that happen? So, what are the rules? The rule is you can't help them to the corner, right? They have to get up on their own accord. I feel like Weili should have just sat there and let her crawl out of her guard. Yeah. Like, crawl out of her back mount. Like, she should have just sat there and just been like, gone. You got 15 seconds.
I'll wait.
Like, look at it. Go on.
I'll wait.
Like,
you okay?
Like, hold her down with her toe, you know? Like,
instead, she gave her a boost. She's like, get off me.
Yeah. She's, get off of me, bitch. And I don't think she realized she was out. And, dude, girl was out. She was out, slumped to the side.
Well, and it looked like Herzog was the ref, right? It looked like he was kind of helping her up.
He was, well, okay. I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. Then they re-showed it, and he kind of just pointed her in the right direction, which you always do. We always walk the wrong way. Oh, and he pointed her in the right direction, and I was like, okay, maybe he didn't pick her up, but he was telling her where to go. But the whole time I was just like, she's out. Like, they need to ask her a question or something. And maybe if she spoke English, they would have said, do you know where you are or something. But maybe they didn't try that because of the language barrier. I don't know. I feel like she gamed her way into the second round. Not on purpose. She didn't know where the fuck she was, but she was very confused. And then did you hear them say, do you want us to wake her up?
Yeah, so that was a big thing that sent the commentary panel into a frenzy.
Yes. What was that about?
So, I mean, and they ended up showing smelling salts, which I've actually experienced before. They're gnarly. They're like a punch in the face to wake you up. Like, okay. They're very intense, but they are not legal technically. I don't know if there's anything written in the rule books though, because I was starting to Google. Yeah. In certain sports you can use them, certain sports you can't, and it's to help, wake somebody up. Huh. But what the cut man was talking about was you put pressure like right at the bridge of like the septum and the nose. And if you put pressure, it'll open up their breathing pathways. Okay. And it'll help wake them up.
Oh, interesting.
So that's what he was referring to, like a touch technique that, these cutmen have been around for a long time. They know all the tricks in the books.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about, that.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about that. And there's a lot of zooming in the corner, double checking it, because you're not supposed to be able to use those in combat sports. Although I still didn't find anything necessarily in the rule books when I was Googling. But I could do a deep dive. It was just interesting, but I think it was used in boxing back in the day, way back in the day. And I think that they ended up saying that it was, unfair to use that.
Yeah, because you got a zombie coming back from the dead, and he's either going to have a ton of brain damage after the fight or beat someone who legitimately beat them already in the first round.
Yeah, so that's what that debacle was about. But I don't know how it went a second round. I'm glad it did.
I mean, it was a good fight. It was a good fight, but I really felt like, man, Weili really should have gotten that win. She in the first. I mean, I would have felt horrible for her if she ended up losing that fight, getting dropped, getting hurt. Because how exhausted are you after finishing someone with a submission?
She put all of her energy into that. And she was noticeably tired and fatigued and, shaking out her arms, for the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
It took, money out of the bank in that.
Yeah. It was really cool to see her come back from that, still be able to rally. You could see in the third round, she kind of looked a little defeated. She had been dropped. She couldn't get any takedowns. She even pulled Jan on top of her at one point, and then eventually she got her shit together and got back in the fight and won the rest of the fight. So I thought it was a really interesting match. It was a lot more competitive than I expected it to be. Yep. And man, that first round, it had me fuming, especially because we just I was like, okay, it's late. I got to get back home. And then she gets into something. I'm like, yes. Okay, one more fight. And then they started up again. I'm like, come on, guys.
We're not done yet.
Come on. I'm an East Coast girl. I know it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast right now. Just she's done. She's done.
It's fine.
Oh, speaking of people who are done, there were a lot of crazy back and forth fights on the prelims, but I think we should talk about that in our exclusive 15.
See you other side.
Bye. Hope you enjoy the fights. Oh, Bo Nickel won.
He did, and he wasn't happy about it. He didn't knock him out in 10 seconds.
No. I'm a really good wrestler. I'm supposed to finish people immediately.
Oh.
It's okay. You'll get him next time.
It's fine.
Hey, bye.